Good morning, Sarah. Welcome. I'm Mark, and I'm really excited to dive into the wonderful world of English verbs and prepositions with you today. It might sound a bit dry, but trust me, we'll make it a giggle.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you for having me. I'm Sarah, and I'm ready. I'm hoping to finally understand why you look at something, but you listen to something else. It feels like a language puzzle.
That's the perfect place to start. You've hit on the essence of the preposition puzzle. At the A1 level, we focus on the most common and necessary combinations. Think of it like this. The verb is the action, and the preposition is the tiny little map that tells you the direction or connection of that action.
A tiny little map. I like that analogy. So let's begin with the verb to live. I know how to say I live in Paris.
Excellent. You use the preposition in. That's our first big rule. Use in for large geographical areas like countries, cities, or continents. It's like the inbox for a huge space. A positive sentence, simple and clear. I live in London.
Simple enough. Now, how about a negative one? Would I say, I not live in Rome?
Great question. At this basic level, for the negative, we introduce the little helper verb do, or rather, do not, which shortens to don't. The sentence becomes, I do not, don't live in Rome. This is where English starts being a bit funny, because the main verb, lives, stays the same. The sentence is saying, I do the not living action in Rome.
Ah, the do helper verb. That's clearer. So a question would be, do you live in Madrid? And the positive short answer, yes, I do. The negative short answer, no, I don't. Am I right?
Absolutely spot on. You're a natural. Now, let's connect this to a smaller location. If you live in a city, in, but you live on a specific street, the preposition changes. We use on for streets. So, I live in New York on Fifth Avenue. It's like the street is a line you are standing on.
That makes sense. Big box, little line. Let's try another common verb, to work. I want to say where I work.
Perfect. For your workplace, like a company or a building, we often use at. So a good positive example is, she works at a big bank. It's like you are physically at that location.
Okay, positive. My brother works at the university. Now for a funny negative one, I could tell someone, he doesn't work at the circus. He's not a clown.
A very important distinction. And what if I want to ask you about it? A question could be, does your sister work at the post office? Remember, for he, she, or it, our helper verb is does, and the main verb work loses its S.
Right. Does is the boss for he, she, or it. My answer would be, no, she doesn't. She works for an insurance company. Oh, I used a new preposition, for. Is that correct?
That is absolutely brilliant. We use for to talk about the company or person that is your employer. You work at a physical location, but you work for the entity that pays you. Another little rule to put in your language map toolkit.
This is so helpful. Let's go back to my initial puzzle. Look at versus listen to.
Great. Verbs that involve using your senses are fascinating with prepositions. When you look at something, like an interesting picture, the preposition at directs your sight to a specific focus point. It's like aiming your eyes. A question, are you looking at my new shoes?
A positive response, yes, I am looking at them. They are very nice. But if I don't see them, the negative, no, I am not looking at them right now.
Excellent use of the present continuous tense, by the way. Now, listen to. This one is different. When you listen to music, the preposition to shows the direction of the sound flow. It's like the music is traveling to your ears. You don't listen at the radio, you listen to the radio.
I see the difference. At is for the specific point of focus, like aiming your eyes, and to is for the direction of the flow, like sound traveling. A simple example, I often listen to the news in the morning.
Perfect. And for a simple verb without a preposition, think of the verb to eat. We don't usually say, I eat at an apple or I eat to a sandwich. We just say, I eat lunch at noon. The only preposition we used was for the time, at noon.
That's a good point. Some verbs are very independent. It's an interesting contrast. For example, a question, do you eat an apple every day?
My honest answer is no, I don't. I usually eat a banana every day. Humorously, I'm a big fan of bananas.
So to recap the basics, in for big spaces, on for lines or surfaces, like a street, at for specific points, like at work or a focused look, and to for direction, like listening.
That's a fantastic summary. We've covered verbs like live, work, look, and listen with their crucial prepositions, all while keeping our tenses and question structures correct for the A1 level. You've done brilliantly with the positive, negative, and interrogative forms.
This conversation has made the English map feel much less confusing and much more like a fun little road trip. Thank you so much for breaking it down so clearly, Mark.
The pleasure was entirely mine, Sarah. Your engagement and insights were wonderful. Thank you for tuning in today, everyone. We hope this cheerful chat helped you navigate the first steps in English verbs and prepositions. If you enjoyed this lesson, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to the English Pod channel for more fun and professional language learning. Have a fantastic day. Welcome back, Sarah. That last segment was excellent. And since you're keen to explore more of our language map, let's spend another 1,000 words on some tricky yet essential verb-preposition pairings. We'll keep the focus on real-world A1 scenarios.
I'm ready, Mark. The at versus to distinction was a major breakthrough for me. Let's tackle another common difficulty. How about the verb to go? I often mix up going to a place and going home.
That's a classic. You've hit upon a fun little rule breaker. Most of the time, when we talk about movement toward a destination, we use to. Think of to as the arrow pointing forward. For example, I go to the park every Sunday. Or a question, do they go to the cinema tonight?
Simple positive, yes, they go to the cinema. And a negative, no, they don't go to the theater, they go to a restaurant instead. I'm following the arrow.
Exactly. Now, for the humorously tricky part, the word home. This is one of the very few words that acts as its own destination sign. When you are going to your house, you just say, I go home. You don't say, I go to home. It's like home is a special VIP word that doesn't need the preposition to when used with the verb go.
A VIP word. That's a wonderful way to remember it. So if I ask you a question, does your colleague go to the office or go home after lunch?
The perfect interrogative example. And my answer, she doesn't go home, she goes to the gym first and then she goes home. Notice how we use to for the gym but drop it for home, the consistency of inconsistency in English.
That makes it memorable. Let's move to a verb that involves communication, to talk. I know I can talk to someone, but I also hear people say they talk with someone. What's the difference at our A1 level?
Another excellent, deeply insightful question, Sarah. For A1, the distinction is minimal and often interchangeable, but here's the nuance. When you talk to someone, the emphasis is often on the direction of your words, like you are speaking to a listener. When you talk with someone, it emphasizes the shared reciprocal nature of the conversation. You are both participating.
So, to emphasizes the listener, and with emphasizes the partnership.
Precisely. But at this level, both are almost always correct. For example, a positive statement, I talk to my mother on the phone every day. We could also say, I talk with my mother. It just sounds slightly more collaborative.
Let me try a question. Do you talk with your boss about the weather?
Funny question. My negative answer, no, I don't talk with my boss about the weather. I only talk to her about important projects. In that context, talk to might suggest I'm reporting or giving information.
Got it. Now let's consider movement involving an object. The verb to put, if I have a book and a table.
Great. The verb to put is always followed by a preposition that shows location or placement. The two most common are on for surfaces and in for containers or boxes. A positive example is, please put the keys on the table.
And if the table has a drawer?
I put the pen in the drawer. That's quite clear. On for the flat surface, in for the box.
Spot on. Now for a negative and slightly humorous example. Imagine a very messy person. Does she put her clothes in the closet?
My negative response: no, she does not put her clothes in the closet. She puts them on the chair. We used incorrectly in the question and on in the answer to describe the messy surface.